Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Grizzly Bear Sims YouTube channel. Welcome back to Lawfolds, Scotland. This is Lawfolds episode number 54. I just love this view up here. This is the little grassy knoll up at the sort of above the main farm area. This is where all of the gold nuggets are. If you are playing this map, then you already know that, especially if you hunted for those gold nuggets. If you have yet to play the Lawfolds map, what are you waiting for, man? I mean, get with it. Play this beautiful map. And I do apologize for the spoiler alert on where the gold nuggets are. So this is a brand new game day. This is late summer. This is game day number, I suppose, 6 in our second year. So as I sort of jump this fence here and get back into our gator, beautiful, beautiful area up here. As I said, I really enjoy this map, and I enjoy this area. And I want to throw out a little statistic. Farmer Klein asked me, several episodes ago. I think he commented on um, the one of the videos and asked me about a statistic as far as the number of hours that I have played Lawfolds to achieve basically a year and a half. I mean, at the end of this game day, and most likely this is going to be the only episode for this game day. There is basically nothing to do. If we pull up our map overview here, you will see that everything is in the final stage of growing. I've got my fingers crossed that everything is going to work out okay, that we're going to have some fields to harvest, or we'll be able to harvest all these fields is my desire, is my wish. And of course, we've got our little test field number 30 here that we planted in soybeans that we're going to spray here. So we're going to do a few different things in this episode. It's going to probably, well, I don't know. I was going to say it may be a short episode, but really, who knows? I guess it would help to turn the gator off. So, who really knows, really? I get to talking, and sometimes before I know it, time has really slipped by. But the number of hours, 78 hours. 78 hours is what I have put into this game save for Lawfolds. And yeah, so 78 hours. And they have been pretty much, all of the hours have been, in a curious statistic is I've got something like, what do I have? I've got like something like 300 hours in Farm Sim 17, I think. Um, my bad. I've got 437 hours. So I've got 437 hours in Farm Sim 17. I've got 78, as I almost back into that. I've got 78 hours in on Lawfolds. And as a point of reference, just a point of reference only, doesn't really mean anything at all in the grand scheme of things. But in Farm Sim 15, I had over 700 hours. And I had started playing Farm Sim 15 about 3 months or so after it'd come out. I think I probably got into it around the February of 2015 timeframe. So Farm Sim 15 would have come out sometime around, well, in October, probably late October of 2014. I began playing it in 2015, about February. And I racked up about 700 hours in Farm Sim 15. And then keep in mind that basically I played Farm Sim 15 until the day before Farm Sim 17 came out. I think Farm Sim 17 came out on Monday afternoon. It was scheduled to be released on Tuesday. Tuesday was the date that it was supposed to release, and of course that actually did happen, because keep in mind that here in the U.S., the date line and everything changes much earlier. So I went to our South Colorado Springs office for that day, for that Monday, and by the time I got back home, Farm Sim 17 was able to be installed. So I had played it on Sunday, Farm Sim 15, and Sunday I'd wrapped up my series on Paradise Hills in Farm Sim 15. And let's see, what do I need to do here? X to unfold this. And so 700 and something hours. I'm going to get this story told here pretty quick. But so here on in 17, I've got the number of hours racked up. 78 hours here on this map, and I will admit, in Farm Sim 15, the 700 and something hours that I had accumulated on that map, that was a lot of that was courseplay hours, and at that particular point in time, I was doing something a little bit different at work, and I was working from home quite a bit, sort of as a result of that. And so I would sort of, if I had tasks that needed to be done, I was playing maps like States, Graceland, things like that, and so a lot of times, as I was on conference calls and stuff like that, I would sort of, I'd set up courseplay to run, and I would kind of keep one eye on it, and I was doing other things, conference calls or whatever. Farm Sim 17, I have not done that. Honest to God, my honest truth. I swear on anybody's grave, any of my loved ones' grave, that the majority of the hours that I have, whatever I said that I had earlier, the majority of those hours are in fact actual playtime hours. I'm here at my desk at my gaming PC. I've got my hands on my Logitech G27 steering wheel and my feet on the pedals, and I am playing the game. I would say that very maybe a couple of hours, maybe an hour, maybe 2 hours, something like that, has been sort of me going into another room or whatever, for whatever reason. But most of this is going to be all me playing this map, and of course loving every minute of it. So 78 hours, Farmer Klein, 78 hours, that is what I've got in it, basically a year and a half into this beautiful Lawfolds map, and I am very impressed with as I hit that fence post. Reefy, there you go, that fence post jumped right out at me. So I realize I'm probably not doing that good of a job fertilizing this field. I am kind of focused on talking to you all at the moment, and not really paying attention to what I need to be doing, and I maybe should be using GPS, but I kind of figured that we could do a good enough job, at least good enough for government work, on this field. And again, this little field number 30, this is our test field. We've planted soybeans on this field, the exact sort of same game day that we did on Pine Cove Farm. And as you know, on Pine Cove Farm, we lost that soybean crop for whatever reason. Now, I've got some news for you. Potentially one of the biggest questions that gets asked, I know on my channel, and I'm sure that Reefy, Mike, Reefy 1952, and some of the others like Landy Kid and Simulate, some of those other guys that are showcasing the Seasons mod on their channel, perhaps the number one question is, other than how do I get my hands on it, is when is it going to be released, especially after we say basically, it's a work in progress, it's beta, it'll be released when it gets ready to be released, etc. And so perhaps the number one question is, well, when will it be released? When will it be released? So let's just check on this crop here. Canola, 85% and growing. Good. Our crops are looking very healthy, and I'm trying to add a little bit of suspense there. Sunflowers at 71%, so just a little bit behind there, but looking good. So here is the deal. And of course, this is not 100% definitive, but I will just tell you that the Seasons development team plans to enter the Seasons mod into the Giants mod contest. The Giants mod contest, all entries have to be in by the 4th of June, okay? And that's really all I know. So I would say that most likely it will come available to you sometime after the mod contest or thereabouts. So that sort of gives you a little bit of a timeline, a time frame to sort of think about, to chew on. This is May, so it's not that far away. It could be a lot worse for you, but I think it's not gonna be. So there you go. That's the answer that I got from the mod team, and we're going to get in our JCB because I realized that we really haven't driven our JCB very much, and we need to change that. So there you go, folks. I mean, the Seasons mod, again, there could be some things that could change about it, but I will tell you one other thing is that I happen to be playing the latest and greatest version, and I think that the version that I have that I've installed, and I know I said I was not going to install another version of Seasons mod into, at least into Lone Star, because I was concerned that updating the Seasons mod as we kind of went along in Pine Cove was what maybe messed some things up. But I decided they released the updated version to us, to those of us that are showcasing the Seasons mod on our channel, and we were told that this is most likely the version that is going to be entered into the contest. And so all of the features and functionality that will essentially be part of the mod that is going to be presented to Giants for consideration of the contest is the version that I'm playing. Now, if we look at it from the settings point of view, and I'll just bring this up here, not much has really changed. The color scheme, I think the color scheme looks like this because I've got colorblind mode turned on. But pretty much everything is, there's nothing really new that's been added. I think there's been obviously a lot of stuff behind the scenes has been put into the mod for this version. But this is, from what we understand, this is the version that they plan to submit to Giants before the June 4th deadline. And I wish them the best of luck. I've got to say that, in Farm Sim 15, that Corona Big Baler won, I believe it won the mod contest, if I remember correctly. And it was outstanding. I mean, it was an outstanding mod, and I really miss it, and I wish that it would come available for Farm Sim 17. I have no information to validate what I'm going to say next, but I wonder if that might come out as a DLC, or a version of it might come out as a DLC. I suppose that we will just have to wait and see. But I do sincerely wish the mod team, the Giants or the Seasons mod team, the really best of luck in this. I think it's an excellent mod. It is a game changer, and I know I've seen some comments. I read all the comments from you folks, every single one of them. And someone posted just recently, yesterday or today, about the fact that they found the Seasons mod, even though I can't tell you how to get it, and I'm not going to tell you how to get it. If you're, I suppose, if you're ingenious enough, you might figure it out. And so this individual did, and he replied basically to one of my videos about the fact that he tried it. He really didn't like it, and I will tell you that this is not going to be for everyone. It's just like, oops, don't run into us, Sean. It's going to be just like the soil mod. The soil mod was not for everybody, and I will admit that I thought that at the beginning, when I first started playing the soil mod, I thought the exact same thing. I'm like, this is too much work. This is not for me. I want something that's a little bit more relaxing. Not that I love a simulation. I do love a good, true simulation. but I did sort of think that it was a lot to keep up with, and I just couldn't get my head around some of the things that we needed to do and all of that kind of stuff. And eventually, over time, and after watching some good videos and everything, I sort of grasped the concept, and got a hold of a spreadsheet that kind of helped me, that I tracked everything. I came up sort of with my own plan as far as how to track what needed to be done and when I did it and what needed to be done next, and so on and so forth. And I've got to say that it became that game-changing mod for Farm Sim 15, and I've got to say that, as far as my opinion, and of course this is just my opinion, you guys are going to have your develop your own opinions whenever you get an opportunity to play the Seasons mod. If you choose to do that, you're going to find that you're either going to like it, and it's going to do for you, and it's going to provide you with a level of immersion and a level of realism that you might be looking for in Farm Sim 17. And then again, maybe you'll say, this is just not for me. I'd rather go back to the old ways of playing. I'm going to just pull up our animal menu here so that I can look and see what is going on with the water situation. So that should basically fix their little red wagon. Now, I've also been in discussions. I might have mentioned, if you watch my Pinecoat, or if you watch my my Lone Star series, I may have mentioned in that series that I was planning on sort of talking to the Seasons mod team and try to better understand the sort of the grass growth stages and process, because as I have played the last couple of maps that you guys have watched in my Let's Play series, I typically do a 3 game day season, 12 game day year, and I bring you all in either after I've set things up on the first game day, or maybe I bring you in on the second game day with Lone Star. I sort of started the first episode in the afternoon of the first game day. And so anyway, I planted the grass as we did in the first game day, and I'm guessing that the soil temperatures just were not optimum for the grass, and it went to that harvested stage, and on the second game day. And of course that threw us off just a little bit, and you're going to be okay. We need to do some maintenance on this tractor here, so we'll do that really quick here. So I messaged them and I sort of talked to them, and I'm like, look, this is how I play the maps, and they know this because they watch my Let's Plays. And so sort of in discussions with a couple of them, and left Alt R to do maintenance, and we'll do this for $431. And there we go. All right. So anyway, long story short, again, I'm not going to make any changes, obviously, with this map, because we're almost done with this map. And I'm not going to make any changes with Lone Star, because again, we are really almost done with that as well. For all intents and purposes, we will be, with the first game year. That's all we're going to play that map. But their recommendation, and at first I couldn't get my head around it, and I'm thinking, okay, well, is this really going to work? Their recommendation is basically to play. Let me get this in here and concentrate on this for just a moment. Their recommendation for me, maybe for all of us, and I'll say, as you experiment with the Seasons mod, you'll probably need and want to do the same thing. but to consider playing either at 6 game days per season or 9 game days per season. And then in addition to that, also play at a faster, more than just 1x speed. So either 5x speed or 10x speed or whatever. And they have mentioned to me, almost sort of assured me, that a lot of my frustrations that I have, especially with the grass situation and wanting to plant a grass meadow, and wanting to do that, say on, somewhere around the early spring time frame, will sort of get resolved. So I am going to try that the next time that we start a new map, where whenever and however, whatever that's going to be, I will basically attempt to try that. And so we will, I'll update you all once we sort of start that process. But as a matter of fact, I'm going to kick our time rate up to like 5 times here, because this is going to be the only, more than likely the only episode for this game day, because we really are just not going to have much to do at all. We're going to head now over to the cow facility and go ahead and give them some water. But pretty much that will most likely wrap our episode up here. But let me get in cab because it's a little easier to drive through the stand of trees this way. But I thought I would share that with you, just to let you all know. And I think my initial concern was, if you all remember, before I discovered the Seasons mod, and my gosh, I can't even remember now how I learned about it, but I read about it on a forum or something. And but before I started playing with the Seasons mod, you guys know that I was doing a manual approach to the seasons, a seasonal approach to virtual farming is what I called it. And I was using a mod that basically changed the HUD in the upper right hand corner just to display the season. That's all it did. It just manipulated that wording that was underneath the clock or the time there. And I was just using the default game growth cycles. I was using the growth manager. That's a mod that I was using. But basically, just utilizing that. And I had that set to also 3 game days per season, because some other people had been using that setting as well. And it worked really well for Goldcrest Valley. And so when I started playing the Seasons mod, I thought, okay, well, it's an option. It's an option to set. According to the Seasons mod development team, really and truthfully, to get the most out of the mod itself, they are saying that, 6 or 9 or 12 game days per season is going to be the best bet. That it really, the Seasons mod works better in those situations than it does in like the 3 game day setting. And yes, I did break down and I bought the big mixing wagon there for this map, just for the final days or so. The amount of total mix rations that I needed to mix up to feed our cows was going to be just a very time-consuming process in that smaller mixing wagon. We've done really well as far as the number of cows that we've added to our farm through natural processes. Obviously, them having little baby calves and everything, and I just needed to mix up a whole bunch of mixed rations, and I just didn't want to do like 10 loads in that smaller 16,000 capacity. So using the big 64,000 liter capacity mixing wagon there, it did a very quick job. I think I put in two loads, and then I went ahead and mixed a 3rd load up, and it will be ready to go whenever we need to feed them once again. So I always forget, oh, there it is. I always forget where the water hydrant is here on the dairy farm, and it's right over here. So we will. So anyway, I hope you all are having a wonderful, wonderful day. I realize I'm about 25 minutes late, and wishing you all a good day and a good evening and a good morning and all that good stuff. I do try to mention that each episode, just because I do care about you guys. I do really do wish that everyone has a good day and a good afternoon. There's our hay all put in there. I did kind of cheat just a little bit and back the trailer in there sideways and unload it just to just to kind of get it done, because this second time around, I'm not saying that it's not as fun. Really what I'm looking forward to is the harvest, the actual farming. That's kind of why we do this, or that's sort of why I do it. I really enjoy the farming aspect of this game, Farm Sim 17, and so I just really didn't want to waste a whole lot of time manually stacking it. So I thought, well, I had 2 trailer loads, so I kind of pulled them in there and unloaded them. That is um, the Joskin auto loading trailer, and it's an excellent mod, and I highly recommend it. If you are looking for an auto loading type trailer, I do recommend that. Now, if you're new to my channel and if you're new to my series, you might be wondering why those 2 hay bales are out there. Well, one of them is hay and one of them is straw. Those were our test bales that we put out there last year to see if they would deteriorate and vanish due to getting wet, either with rain or with snow, and they did not. But we're still sort of leaving them there just as a test, at least for now, and we'll find out what we're going to do with them a bit later. So in any event, good stuff. Let's just kind of check and see how this one soybean crop is doing here before we head back to the other to the main farm. So we are at 71% here as well. So I'm very hopeful. I mean, we're pretty good to go. I mean, we're at I should have, and I'll do that really quick before I end the episode. We'll drive up to that small field. So 71%. We planted this soybean crop. We planted this soybean crop the last game day of spring or late spring, and we'll head up and check that small field which we planted in the first game day of summer. So basically 2 game days ago, and see how that soybean crop, see what percentage that soybean crop is currently at, and that should give us some information. I mean, I'm hopeful that we're going to be able to harvest those. Now, I will say one thing, and I can't remember, to be honest, I can't remember if, with the Seasons mod, you can plant winter barley, winter wheat, and winter canola. Now, one might think that, well, okay, you're planting a winter crop and you're planting that in the fall time frame, the mid to late fall time frame. So you might think that that's going to be able to be harvestable, if that's actually a word, earlier than the rest of your fields. Now, as I've kind of shown and demonstrated, it is slightly, but at 7:45 in the morning, I think we came together sometime around 6:30 was when we came together. And of course, I've been running at the 5x speed here for maybe 10 or 15 minutes, maybe the second half of this video. And of course, that has come into harvest, or into ready to be harvested. Now, I think, and obviously visibly, this crop looks much different than the other one. It's going to be much less than 71%, 57%. Okay, so that's understandable. But I really think that the idea, and I know here in the U.S., winter crops that are planted in the fall can be harvested in some locations, in some climates, can be harvested, in early summer, and they'll be ready to go. Here within FS17 and the Seasons mod, it doesn't really depict it that way. But the way that I view it, the way that I sort of see it, is that if we plant a winter crop, say wheat, barley, or canola, and you get those seeds in the ground and everything, and you do that in the fall time frame when it's acceptable to plant those crops, what you're really doing is you're helping to take some of that workload off of yourself, off of your plate for the coming next year. And of course, if you're only going to play one season like we're going to do on Lone Star, it doesn't really make that much of a difference. You know, there's no value add to you if you're not going to play the map, if you're not going to be playing it to harvest those crops. But you know, here what we did on this map obviously was we did plant those crops, and we did you know, do everything to the fields that we were supposed to do to them. And we basically got, you know, the workload of 3 fields: one wheat, one barley, one canola. We got that work out of the way. We got it out of the way in the fall time frame before winter set in. And that way, of all of our fields, if we just bring up our map again, and we own all these fields here, and of course we leased field 4 and we leased field 9, and we're done with field 9 now. But that at least allowed us to have a little bit more time to tend to some of the other fields. And our winter, I believe our winter fields are 34, 33, and 32. So barley, wheat, and canola. Um, so that's how I guess you have to look at it, and it's fine. You know, it works out perfect, because if I do decide to play a map and I do decide to play it more than one season or whatever, you know, I can get that workload and everything done, and all will be fine. So that brings us to about 33 minutes here on our video counter. And I was actually surprised I was able to get 30, 33, 34 minutes of stuff done. So you've got to see a little bit of different things, stuff that we've already done before, but I haven't done those things in a while. And I do like to document these tasks, because they are all important to the operation for farming. We've got to take care of our animals. We've got to take care of our crops and everything. And so we've got everything now is fertilized. Everything is fertilized well up to the last stage. Everything is plowed. So we're going to get all of our bonuses, our plowing bonus, our 3 times fertilization bonus. We're going to get all of that. That's all going to be excellent. We will come back together for episode number 55, and it will be in this game day, and we will harvest. We will start harvesting field number 34, which is our barley, our winter barley crop, get that in, and then we'll see where it goes. We'll see if maybe one of these other 2 fields will come available for harvest. But that's just the weirdest thing. I kind of thought that the growth stuff all happened at midnight, and anything that was you know, showing whenever you looked at 7 o'clock in the morning or whatever the time was, and everything was showing as gold. In other words, still growing in the final growth stage. And I think I even talked about that, and I showed you this screen. So but hey, we will take it, and we will come back, and we will harvest field number 34 and get our barley crop in, and then see where things go. And then obviously, probably if that's the only thing that we can do in that game day, then we'll come back with another episode in the next game day, which will obviously be the early fall, and start harvesting our just harvest, harvest, harvest. I mean, that's what we've got to do to get everything done. So thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate you joining me here on Lawfolds. I really do. Thank you all so much for your friendship, and all your participation with the YouTube comments, as well as coming over and joining PCSG and the Three Dudes Gaming Network. Means a lot to me. So thank you all so much. Take care of yourselves, and God bless you all. Bye-bye.